Hello, this is Arthur Baldwin. I'm running Linux on this computer so you can see what it looks like. Down here in the left bottom corner we have something like the Start button in Windows 7 with a corresponding menu that is 3 layers deep. Um, if you're thinking about converting from Windows to Linux, you may want to do that and you may not. It depends on what your situation is. If you need 100% compatibility with Microsoft Office for some reason, then you probably don't want to switch the computer that you're using to make Office documents because there's only about 80% compatibility. A basic Excel spreadsheet will work okay. A basic Word document will work all right. But when you start getting into columns and floating text boxes, automatically updating indexes and table of contents, that kind of stuff just doesn't work going back and forth from Windows to Linux. So that's one consideration. Um, if you're using your computer just for internet and emails and things like that, or for webcam chatting, webcam meetings, or WhatsApp or something like that, or Zoom, um, then Linux is great. You can use the actual Google Chrome directly from Google, and that will work just fine and probably perform many times better than Edge or anything else from Microsoft. Um, let me show you LibreOffice here. LibreOffice Writer is the default Microsoft Word equivalent, and it works like you would expect. Once you highlight the text that you want to change, you can center it, left justify, or right justify, change the font size, change the font style, make it bold, italic, underlined, or strike through. Anyway, you get the idea. There's very similar tools up here that Microsoft Word has. Of course, the layout is different, but I like this layout much better than Word myself. And there's a gallery, and you can get open clip art to add to your gallery quickly and easily. And there's quite a wide variety of applications for Linux. Um, Nowadays, I can do anything on Linux that I used to do on Windows, except for Microsoft Access. Um, it's much more difficult to do the same thing that you can do with Access on a Linux machine. But I would recommend using Postgres as your database and using React. Maybe use an AI machine to generate React code for you to interface with that database. Anyway, the nice thing about Linux is that it takes up very little hard drive space. It's much more reliable than any version of Windows, and you're not going to get as many crashes with Linux as you do with Windows. That's for certain. Linux just works. I've heard people say that Windows just works, but no, it doesn't. I've used it ever since it first came out in 1985 or 86, and it doesn't just work. We had a term back then for plug and play when that was finally released. We called it plug and pray. Pray that it works. Anyway, um, Linux just works now. So if you want something super reliable and not susceptible to most malware, you don't really need any malware software on here to speak of, unless you're in a server environment and you want to protect your users. Anyway, give me a call if you'd like to talk about switching to Linux from Windows, because I think you're going to be a lot happier using it, and it's just safer to use than Windows. Approximately 40% of the source code for Windows has been designed to spy on all Windows users worldwide. So that bloats Microsoft Windows into being much larger than it needs to be. The performance is lower, and like I said, it crashes a lot compared to Linux. So let me know if you want to switch to Linux. Probably the best way to switch is to begin using Linux on one machine. If you have 2 or 3 machines in your business, just switch one of them to Linux and see how you like it. You can always get 100% compatibility with Office on a Windows machine that you still have running Windows, and then you won't be stuck in a bad place, and you'll still be able to check out Linux, see how it works, get to know and like it, and I know you'll love it. Linux is so reliable and so quick. You'll fall in love with it in no time. Thank you.